A new technology about to be introduced in the Philippines is given the go signal by the DICT, but got a cease and desist order from the National Privacy Commission. Good morning. On behalf of Attorney Jimeno, I'm Gerg Cahiles. Let's find out what the new technology world is all about and why DICT and the NPC are at two opposing ends. Here at the forefront. A new tech company called Tools for Humanity is trying to introduce World, which aims to become the next generation CAPTCHA. At the center of this technology is Orb, a special camera built by this company that takes a picture of a person's iris and uses advanced software to recognize the unique pattern of each person to certify that a user is a real person and not a bot. This new technology is embraced by DICT and has been in testing stages for already a year by government stakeholders at a national level. But why did the National Privacy Commission issue a cease and desist order against this new technology world? Is this innovation or intrusion in disguise? With us this morning is Deputy Privacy Commissioner of the National Privacy Commission, Attorney Jose Belarmino. Good morning, Deputy Commissioner Joe.
Good morning, Gerg, and of course, good morning to the viewers at the forefront.
Well, first and foremost, marami ng data privacy issues ang ating bansa dahil sa bot at AI. So, do you agree na talaga bang itong World app at paano ba ito konektado doon sa kumpanyang Tools for Humanity? Can you just give us a background on this?
Right. So, Tools for Humanity, it's an American company, no? So, the way it works, at least based on our records, what was submitted to us, the way it works is meron kang World app. Now, the World app, you download it on your phone. So, you download it on your phone, you provide certain information, and then if you want to get verified, meaning to say, in order for you to be able to get what they're saying na ang purpose nila is to prove the personhood of an individual, meaning to say you're not an AI, you have to be verified. In order for you to get verified, you have to go to an orb. Magpapaschedule ka, pupunta ka sa isang location, and then you go in front of the orb, and then it's where your iris gets scanned, and then your face.
Okay.
And then after that, you're now verified, magkakaroon ka na ng World ID.
Okay.
Sinasabi nila that you have a World ID, mapupunta yan sa phone mo, and then you get what you call the World, the cryptocurrency, the World coin. So that's how it works. That's their business model as based on our records.
So technically, anong solution yung binibigay nito?
Well, sinasabi niya na pinapatunayan niya na ikaw ay isang tao. So meaning to say, sinasabi nila if you interact with another application that they've partnered with, say for example, a dating application, hindi mo na kailangan patunayan na tao ka kasi tao ka na. Meaning to say, dahil may World ID ka na, you're already a human. But of course, you would have to still go through the other process of that app na you have to provide, I don't know, certain information.
But with advancement sa technology, Joe, is it necessary to check if you are really a human?
I mean, based on certain things, there might be some necessity to prove that you're human, but I'm not saying that this is the only technology and way to do that. I'm not saying na hindi rin naman to yung tamang technology because that's not really our concern at the National Privacy Commission.
No, I'm wondering, kasi bakit yung iris? Kasi, di ba, marami naman tayong kinukuhang ibang biometrics, like your fingerprints, etc. No? So, why do you think so?
Based
on their studies,
I wanna go back to our decision that, and in reference to your question, kaya nga in our decision, we said in our order, it's unnecessary and excessive. Meaning to say, if the only purpose is to prove that you're a human, bakit kailangan mo pang i-scan yung iris, kunin yung picture ng face, split it into two codes, store it, transfer it to 2 or 3 international processors, when the purpose was only to say that this person is actually a human. Ibig sabihin po, ikaw ay pumunta na sa isang orb, tumayo ka na, may tao na nga sa tabi na nagsasabing tao ka, bakit kailangan pa yung mukha? This could have been achieved through a less intrusive means. Under the law kasi, may tinatawag tayong principle of proportionality. Ang sinasabi ng proportionality, dapat kung ano yung gagamitin mo to achieve your purpose is the least intrusive method. less intrusive sa privacy ng isang tao. So pwede naman mga non-biometric cues, combine that with the person being present in that, location, saying that, oh, that's actually a person that went in front of the equipment.
Are you saying that the existing technologies now are enough to prove that you are a human being?
There are technologies that are being used that proves that you're human. Again, we're not saying that this is not a good technology. We're not favoring or disfavoring any technology.
Okay.
All what we're saying is you have to do it in accordance with the law.
Siyempre, from our perspective, no? Kasi napapanood natin to sa mga pelikula,
Right,
Joe, that sometimes nire-replicate yung iris mo.
Right.
Pwede na ba yun? O nangyayari ba yan?
Well, what we saw is, remember, TFH is still the controller. Meaning to say, kahit naka-split siya into codes at nilipat siya sa tatlo or dalawang international processors, si TFH pa rin yung controller. So there is the possibility that they're able to combine all these codes, separated codes, and mababalik pa din siya into, the iris scan and photo of the person, of the face of the person.
But they say na kapag na-picturean ka nila ng orb, no?
Right.
I-delete yan within 10 to 12 seconds, and then yung data, like what you mentioned, and the explanation nila, it's a sequence of numbers,
Right.
no, na ipapadala sa different nodes,
Right.
areas in different parts of the world, no?
Right.
Na sinasabi nila, that's why it's difficult na i-trace back
Right.
to the owner of that scan. So what is your response to that?
So my first response to your question, Gerg, is sinasabi nila na they delete it within 12 seconds.
Yeah.
We ask for proof. Give us proof that you actually deleted for 12 seconds or within 12 seconds. We never got any documentation, any proof that it's deleted within 12 seconds, in spite of the several chances that we gave Tools for Humanity. Second is, as to mahirap siyang i-combine, again, wala pong total irreversibility, total non-irreversibility sa mga codes na anonymized. There's still the possibility of being able to combine that. It might be hard, but it's not impossible. So there's still a chance that if this codes lands within the hands of threat actors, may posibleng pwedeng makombine pa rin yan. No? And then again, TFH has also that capacity.
Same way with any other technology.
Yes, yes. But the thing is, what we're talking about here is an iris scan,
Yes.
which is immutable. It's not like your regular password,
Yeah.
your email that gets changed or you can change. You have the ability to change. Here, it's your iris scan from birth till death. It won't change. It's going to be the same. So if that lands to the hands of, threat actors, a lot of things could be done with it. It's the highest proof of personhood of an individual.
But this technology is not new, di ba, attorney? Because, technically, but kasi sabi ng DICT, sinabi ni Secretary Aguda that this iris scan, ginamit din siya sa national ID system natin.
Right.
All right. So what's the difference there?
Right. In the iris in the national ID system, that's mandated by law.
Okay.
So yes, it's been used for the national ID, but their basis there is mandated by law. Remember, when you process personal information, there has to be a legal basis. It's either consent, contract, law. So the national ID, that's by law. Here, this is not a government initiative. This is a private company, and their only basis that they're using to process personal information, yung iris scan ng tao, is yung consent ng tao.
Okay, so talk about the cease and desist order issued by the NPC. What are the major arguments that you post there? Why Tools for Humanity should stop its operations here in the Philippines?
Right. So first and foremost, I've already mentioned earlier, they violated the principles, the general principles under the Data Privacy Act. So you have your transparency, you have your proportionality. So proportionality, I've explained earlier. Dapat yung means mo to achieve your purpose is the less intrusive means. Meaning to say, if it could be achieved in other ways, in other forms that doesn't intrude to the privacy of the person, then show it to us, na prove it that there's no other way, that this is the only way. Second is transparency. Meaning to say, if you process personal information, kailangan mong ipaalam sa tao ano ba yung ipaprocess mo, para saan, saan pupunta yung datos, kailangan mong ipaalam sa kanila yung mga rights nila under sa batas, kailangan mong ipakita sa kanila, i-explain sa kanila in such a way na naiintindihan nila. Because it's hard to, read a privacy notice or consent form that's too long and very technical. And their privacy notice contains a lot of technical terms. It's long, I believe it was a 29-page document. So, for someone who's not digitally literate or sobrang taas ng knowledge when it comes to data privacy or processing, that would be very difficult for them to understand. They've also violated the law because they have, based on our findings, they don't have the proper basis because they didn't get the proper consent. Invalid yung consent na nakuha nila sa mga tao. When we talk about consent, tatlo ang requirement niyan. It has to be specific, it has to be freely given, and it has to be an informed indication of the will.
Okay.
So meaning to say specific, pag tinanong mo yung tao, iningi mo yung consent niya, kailangan sabihin mo sa kanya exactly, gagamitin ko to for this, ipapadala ko to for sa ganitong lugar, at ito yung mga purpose kung ba't ko hihingiin to sa inyo. Pangalawa, if it's it must be freely given, meaning to say, dapat wala kang undue influence, walang inducement, na mafo-force ka to, kasi you're binded if there's an undue influence. Meaning to say, hindi na freely given yung consent mo dahil meron nang nag-i-induce sa'yo na even if hindi mo naiintindihan kung para saan, ibibigay mo because you'll get something out of it. And then, of course, it has to be informed. Meaning to say, it goes back to the transparency principle. Kailangan alam nila kung saan gagamitin yung datos mo, saan ipapadala, hanggang kailan mo i-store yung data, at yung iba't iba pang impormasyon na kailangan malaman ng isang tao.
Attorney, anong kaibahan yan sa application? Let's say, sabihin natin sa credit card. Because, sometimes banks offer like rewards just for you to apply.
Right.
So, anong kaibahan nun? Kung yes, sabihin natin na nag-i-entice sila or maybe enticing yung offer for a certain cryptocurrency na tatawagin para matanggap or mag-apply sila for this application, anong pagkakaiba nun?
Sa bangko kasi, may nire-regulate ng BSP kung ano lang yung pwedeng incentives na ibigay mo. Meaning to say, you can hindi ka pwedeng all out. Meaning to say, there's a guidance from the BSP na ito lang yung pwede mong gawin, ito lang yung pwede mong ibigay. Plus, if you don't, pwede mong hindi kunin yung binigay sa'yo, and you reject. Nagagamitin lang yung document mo, yung consent mo for that particular credit card application.
Pero ito rin yung same argument na ibinigay ng Tools for Humanity. That,
Yes.
Well, nandun yung offer, but you have the free will not to accept it.
Right. But then again, based on our investigation, and if you look at the comments of the many people that has been using World App, they're all saying that it's for the money. We've lined up for the money. Pumunta kami, pumila kami. Some even said that hindi nga nila alam na kinukuha na lang yung phone nila. They would agree dahil nga merong perang kapalit pagkatapos nilang magpa-verify.
How will you respond to what World App said that parang may overreach pagdating dito sa pag-i-issue ng cease and desist order?
Of course, we don't agree because, again, we don't favor or disfavor any technology. We welcome technology, but it has to be a responsible innovation.
Okay.
And the reason why data privacy regulators are present all around the world is for us to specifically assist those who are not literate when it comes to what they're giving, to their data, what they're providing at the exchange of something, So, of course, it's not an overreach. We're just trying to do our jobs.
Yes.
We're just making sure that we protect the Filipino people, especially those who are not aware, who do not understand what they're giving, and the impacts that it could have in the long run.
Now, naniniwala si DICT Secretary Henry Aguda na this kind of tech is the future of identity security. So bakit hindi ka sumasang-ayon sa point of view or sumasang-ayon ka ba or hindi sa point of view ni Secretary Aguda? But before you answer that, at the forefront, we'll be back after this short break. Welcome back at the forefront. So, Joe, naniniwala kasi itong si DICT Secretary Henry Aguda this kind of tech is the future of identity security. So, do you agree or not with what he's saying?
I'm not going to agree or disagree. That's not really the point of our order. And just to clarify, it's not just my order. It's the order of the National Privacy Commission.
Okay.
To say the three of us voted in coming up with this decision. I wrote the decision. I presented it to the two other commissioners, but it was a unanimous vote. Sa commission, in order for you to get a vote pass, or rather a position pass, it has to get the majority vote. And so I just want to clarify that this is a unanimous vote. The three of us agreed with this decision. As to your question, I'm not going to say that I disagree or I agree with Sec Aguda's position. Of course, you know, we're all entitled to our position. All we're saying is if we're going to use this, we have to make sure that the rights of the Filipino data subjects and their data are protected.
And to be fair to Secretary Aguda, he mentioned that, you know, he recognizes the power of the National Privacy Commission to, you know, carry out these kind of things and review kung talagang meron.
Right.
And this, after all, this is about the security, the privacy of individuals, of Filipinos.
Right,
no?
correct.
And currently, may sinasabi kasi yung world that late 2024, parang the NPC, parang they gave world the go signal, or at least in a way, siguro hindi ko kasi matrace, no? If you could tell us, no, na parang binigyan nila ng go signal. And early this year, parang January, may green and go na daw talaga based doon sa NPC. Is this true?
No, there was the National Privacy Commission will never provide any clearance or go signal when it comes to data processing ng isang company. Why? Because that would have an impact on our impartiality. Remember, we're a regulator. We decide on violations, alleged violations on data privacy. So we do not provide any clearance, we do not provide any issuance or go signal. So I don't know where that came from. What I know was they were told to register their process before the National Privacy Commission. Just like any other company that comes to the commission and asks, what should we do? Because registration is a requirement under the law. But it's only one of the requirements. And to clarify ko lang, it's not a badge of full compliance. Hindi ibig sabihin, pag nag-register ka, wala ka nang i-violate sa batas. So, to answer your question directly, wala pong issuance ang National Privacy Commission. And I've asked the two other sitting commissioners na who's been there before I took my oath of office last March, wala po silang inisyu na any approval or issuance or clearance because nga the commission does not do that.
Yeah, speaking of, because it raised the question na bakit daw apparently nagbago yung stand ng NPC on this issue, di ba? And ang nangyari lang naman is pumasok ka sa National Privacy Commission. It was March, right?
Yes.
March 2025.
Correct.
You joined the National Privacy Commission.
Yes.
So, ikaw lang ba daw ito?
No. And thank you for asking that, no? Because I want to clarify, yung isang role lang po ng Deputy Commissioner ang napalitan. Mean to say, the term of the former Deputy Commissioner expired. So as appointed last March, I took my oath of office last March, and I want to take this opportunity to explain that again, for the commission to pass a decision or an order, the commission and bank mag-a-adjudicate yan. Tatlo kami. You have the privacy chairman and the two deputy commissioners. One will be assigned the case. Mabibigyan siya ng kaso. And he or she would have to draft his or her position. And then you present that to the two other commissioners. And then the commissioners could dissent or could agree with the decision or could say na, I dissent or I agree, but here's my these are my certain positions that if you may include. So then again, there's no reason why to assert na it's just me, it's because of me. Again, I penned the decision, but that was agreed by the two commissioners. Hindi ko po kinokontrol ang National Privacy Commission.
And to clarify, Joe, itong kasong itong case ng World, napunta lang sa'yo?
Napunta siya sa akin.
You did not ask for it?
I did not ask for it. I did not ask for it. Napunta po siya sa akin. It was assigned to me.
So, kailan nag-start kayo nakatanggap ng complaint? Nagsimula ba to sa complaint? Or, you know, on your own,
Yes.
nag-investigate kayo?
No. At least from the side of the National Privacy Commission, our Complaints and Investigation Division, nakatanggap po yan ng iba't ibang messages or complaints, concerns saying na may nangyayaring iris scan sa Plaridel, Bulacan. So that's when the investigation started. And then from there on, the CID, that's their determination because that's a division in the commission, no? Applied for a cease and desist order last May of this year. And then from then on, we've conducted a clarificatory hearing. So meaning to say, nandun po yung CID, nandun yung Tools for Humanity, we asked questions, and then we gave them the chance to make submissions, and then I think they even requested for an extension. And then, we followed the process up until the time that we had to decide on the cease and desist.
No, I'm wondering, kasi ang NPC, correct me if I'm wrong, is an attached agency of the DICT.
Right, that's right.
Okay, so ngayon, if the DICT has a position that, wala akong nakikitang problema sa system na ito. And now, the National Privacy Commission takes a different stand on the issue. Paano siya mare-resolve? May resolution ba? Because Secretary Aguda mentioned in his guesting here sa Bilyonaryo News Channel, sinabi niya na you're in discussion with him on this matter. And sabi niya, there is a fruitful discussion and hopefully ma-iron out yung mga bagay na to.
Yes, we had a discussion, but that discussion entailed us explaining our position or, trying to also get his take on why, this is okay. But then again, as you've mentioned, we're an attached agency. While we're an attached agency for policy and coordination, of course, even if the DICT says that they provided a letter of support after the sandbox, that should not take away the power of the commission to decide on cases. Because if mababayin kami ng any issuance from, not just from DICT, but any other government agency, then that takes away the mandate of the commission. Kaya nga, in the law itself, it said that we're an independent body in terms of situations like this, issuing decisions, orders when it comes to data privacy violations or concerns.
No, Joe, papaano nyo ini-ensure or binabalanse yung progress, technology, etc., and the security, yung privacy ng individuals dito sa Pilipinas?
I mean, we just want a responsible innovation. We want, again, to clarify, we do not favor or disfavor any technology. But when you process personal information, and for whatever purpose, it has to be within the bounds of the law. Meaning to say, like this, we check your processing. Kung nasa tama ba yung pagproseso nyo, sumusunod ba kayo sa requirements ng batas? If nakita namin na hindi, then we would have to issue an order or tell you to, address these concerns before you can continue with your processing. Aside from that, we educate the people. We tell them that you have the rights under the law that you can exercise before these companies to ensure that your data will be protected continuously.
Gusto ko lang balikan, Joe, yung pagbibigay ng permiso doon sa pag-scan. At sinasabi mo nga kanina na hindi naman, allegedly, hindi napapaliwanag kung saan gagamitin. But according to Tools for Humanity, may several agreements or mga ways, no, para makakuha ng permiso sa owner ng iris para gamitin yung kanilang whatever they have, no?
Right.
Okay. Now, sabi nila may 10 to 15 minute educational videos and explanation on papaano gagamitin yung kanilang iris. So, isn't that already enough?
Well, that's not what our investigators saw.
Okay.
What our investigators saw, the iris scan, the process itself can be completed in less than 10 minutes. So, that was part of the result of the investigation. Besides, even if there's a 10 to 15 explanation, they didn't provide the proper consent form, not just in the iris scan, but also in the app. They were also processing information in the app, but there was no proper consent form. In fact, they bundled their acknowledgement of privacy notice with their terms and conditions. So, these are the factors that led us para sabihin na hindi nyo na-explain ng maayos sa tao kung saan gagamitin. Hindi rin alam ng tao, hindi nila nilagay sa privacy notice nila na in fact, yung pag nag-scan ka sa orb, pwedeng sabihin ng orb na na-scan ka na niya before. So it goes against their argument that there's no storage. Kasi how can you, and in fact, we asked this during the clarificatory hearing. Pag nawala yung phone mo, hindi mo na-store yung World ID mo sa cloud, tapos ni-download mo uli yung cloud, magpunta ka sa orb, sasabihin sa'yo ng orb na nag-scan ka na before, na-validate ka na before. So how was that possible? So hindi alam yun ng mga tao because they never mentioned that in their privacy notice. They mentioned that in their data protection impact assessment, but not in their privacy notice, which is the one that the public must see, must read and must understand. Their biometric consent form, it's a 29-page consent form. Tapos nandun ka na, nasa harap ka na ng orb. How do you get to finish that biometric consent form?
May simplified form naman daw.
Meron namang simplified form. But that's not that simplified form does not contain all the information for a person to understand kung ano ba yung paggagamitan ng datos nila.
All right. Well, Joe, siguro bago natin tapusin to, kasi sinabi nung Tools for Humanity that they will file a motion for reconsideration.
Right.
Nakapag-file na ba sila?
I believe they submitted last night. I do not know what was submitted. Malalaman ko pa lang today, no? But in our order, we asked them to submit a comment within 10 days from receipt. So we'll see what was submitted by Tools for Humanity.
So if they can comply with the requirements of the National Privacy Commission, this can still continue.
We will assess.
Okay.
We will assess what's submitted, what's their argument as well. We will assess based on their on what was furnished to the commission.
All right. Thank you very much, Commissioner Jose Belarmino II.
Thank you.
When privacy met innovation, the future stood in question. World App claims its system is anonymous, a step towards safer digital identity, not surveillance. And as the National Privacy Commission draws its line, one truth remains: progress can't wait for permission when the world is already changing. Be timely informed, be insightful of the news, always stay at the forefront. Join us again on Monday for conversations on issues that matter. But before At the Forefront ends, we invite everyone to help those affected by the recent earthquakes in Cebu and Davao. You may send your donations through the Tulong Abante Drive. Just scan the QR code to help. On behalf of Attorney Karen Jimeno, I'm Gerg Cahiles. Happy weekend, everyone.